Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm. One of your, I don't have a time. I can't do the time frame thing anymore. It goes here and there and everywhere. We talk about Final Fantasy 14 here, and you're here to listen and or watch it, depending on your audio or video medium of choice. Today, very obvious show. Live Letter 71 was earlier today, and we're going to talk about it because it was a short live letter, but it was heated. Okay, so for this show, of course, we're going to need your hosts. I'm Mr. Happy, and of course, joining me is Sly. How you doing, Sly?
Hi.
Hi. How you
doing? I'm doing good.
You doing good?
I'm doing good.
How good are you doing?
Good. About a 8.5.
Is that
on a 10 scale.
What would make it a 10? See if I can oblige you in some way.
Either tomorrow night or Sunday.
Okay, is that, you mean Allure? For tomorrow night?
No, they're closed.
Oh, it's the first one of the, oh yeah, July. Oh, right, there's a holiday this weekend in the States. That's true. Good point. I forgot about that. I don't know when holidays are anymore. I don't think about them. Just enjoy your barbecue.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, July 4th is Monday. Yeah.
It is Monday. Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been awake for 10 hours since the live letter. I'm just processing what life is right now, okay? Just trying to get it through my head at this point. So without further ado, thanks to our sponsors, Steelseries. I will have a link in the YouTube video. This live stream doesn't have it, but the YouTube video will have a link for a July giveaway for Steelseries. All the rules and regulations will be there as they were before, but it's been a while, so make sure you read them and understand them. But should be a nice time for some good prizes. And also thank you to our sponsors on Patreon. They don't have to support, they choose to because they like us for some reason. And so they do it. So thanks to them. And with that, Sly, this is a heated live letter. It was only 2 hours.
Yeah. Pretty short. Pretty sweet.
Funny thing about that is Yoshi P going, this one's not short. The other ones are too long. I was like, right. You're right about, you know what? Yup. You're right about that, Yoshi P. Oh, man. So we're going to be going over all the details, having a discussion, and I'm sure Twitch chat will be fantastic with these topics. Sure, the YouTube comments will be also, as will the forum and Reddit about all the topics involved.
You are overly optimistic about that one.
That is not optimism. That is sarcasm.
That is copium. No, that's opium.
No, it's sarcasm. There's no hope. There's no cope. There's reality. These particular tools are for dealing when things are not in your reality, trying to will them into reality. What I've presented in my sarcasm is reality. So we're going to be using the unofficial translations from the Final Fantasy 14 Reddit Discord provided by Luna Minori and Miuna. Thank you to them, as per usual. Sly even made sure to write down the reminder in case I didn't remember to say it, but I did.
There you go.
I knew.
Proud of you.
So this coming Tuesday, Sly, before we get to 6.2, which is not for another couple months, given the time frame they've given us, there's 24-hour maintenance for patch 6.18.
Yep.
Some pretty important stuff happening in that patch. We've talked about it a little, a time or two before. Let's just touch upon it again real quick. New JP data center, Meteor. So they're gonna. This is part of their overarching plan of fixing all the data centers and all the regions so they can handle high volume better. New worlds on the European data centers, 2 worlds being added to each of them. That's also just phase 1 of the changes they're getting. They're going to be replacing the server equipment in Europe. And so that's all pretty important stuff. And then, just this little thing that they've been working on called data center travel. That'll be Tuesday also. That'll be fun. Just remember, if you do Elmo strat on any data center, not going to name which one, for P3S, just don't bring it to Ether. You're going to do Mida and Toothless, and you're going to like it. Okay? It's Toothless, technically. But you're going to like it. Okay? Good.
Mm-hmm.
Not talking to any data center in particular, especially not ones that rhyme with...
sure?
Especially not ones that rhyme with Rymel, you know? But I'm just, you know... I'm just saying... I'll respect it if I go to Rymel, anything that would rhyme with Rymel for any particular reason. I would also respect that, and I would concede to do Elmo. Okay? That's fair. That's yours, and this one's ours. All right? So get used to it. That's all I'm saying. They didn't mention Savage unlocking, though. I'm assuming it will. There's no reason to believe it won't.
Yeah, like... Yeah, they didn't say it explicitly, but you know, it's probably going to end up in the notes. So I'd just still bank on it, honestly.
If they didn't, it would be a huge misstep.
It really would be.
I feel like it should have happened. I think they should do it earlier, even.
How early?
Honestly,
how early are we talking?
Honestly, I was having this discussion with somebody earlier. You should do it as soon as the odd numbered patch drops. And I have a very particular reason for that.
Okay, I need to hear that.
You know how annoying it is to only have enough time to gear up 1, maybe 2 jobs for Ultimate when you're not sure about what job changes are exactly going to be? And then having only 2 weeks left of loot to really fix any gear problems that you might have? Also... Imagine if you started playing in an odd-numbered patch, and you're like, oh, I really want to do Ultimate. What do I need to do? Oh, just 8 weeks of Savage to get the gear.
I'm assuming Yoshi P is under the assumption that within those 8 weeks, you are getting gear for what you are going into Ultimate with. Like, you are getting gear for your mains. 8 weeks, done. Like, couple weeks later, Ultimate hits, you're good to go.
That's fair.
Yeah, I still think that's like your scenario.
It's not even my scenario. This has never happened to me.
No. I'm just saying. I'm thinking that your idea is still a little too soon.
I just know there's a lot of people who get excited to do something in 14. And then they find out there's literally nothing they can do to expedite a process, and they have to do content that came out 4 months ago while everyone's getting hype over the new stuff. So any place I can even think of eliminating that, I like to present the idea of eliminating that. So I'm just saying, what if you started playing between 0.2 and 0.3, and there's no way for you to have the gear for someone to take you into Ultimate by the time it releases? Or even if you started in 0.3 and, you know, you saw Ultimate, you want to try it, or you like just got to 90 at that time. I just think there's not enough downsides to it to warrant not doing it earlier. Personally. So that's just my opinion on it.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. When is too soon?
I think too soon would be if it was still the same even numbered patch. Like if it was like 6.28, I would be like, you could technically. It also technically doesn't have a downside, but I think for the strategy of getting people to log in weekly, because you also, the biggest problem with unlocking Savage is Tomes still being locked. I mean, it's kind of the other half of the issue is that Savage isn't the only way you're expected to get gear. So I think they'd probably have, if the earlier they do it, the more they have to look at Tomestone system. I think they don't mind keeping Tomestones capped when it's so close to the end of the next patch cycle, end of the next raid cycle, or starting the next raid cycle. But if they were to do it that early, even as early as I initially suggested, they'd probably have to rework Tomes. They probably have to double the cap every odd-numbered patch also. So just to try to open up people feeling like they can gear other jobs, play other jobs, they're not locked into one decision for Ultimate, or they can actually get to Ultimate in the first place. If they didn't start as soon as like week 1 of Savage came out or anything. That's all. That's how I feel. Simple.
I mean, if that's the case, then as drastic as the sounds, I would say maybe think about reworking the Savage reward structure if you're going to go down that route.
That's fair. I think you could do that as well to try to make it so, because I went like 6 weeks without seeing like a ring drop even, and that's the one I expected to struggle with the least. So one of each accessory drop off the first fight, even maybe even like partway through, instead of unlocking the Savage tier, you add an extra coffer to it or something like that. Like add a fourth coffer in the first one, or add like a third coffer in another one. Even just increasing the loot volume goes a long way. Except if you're a party finder, because you're not going to win. You're going to lose every time. So
what's the quickest way? Okay, what would be the optimal scenario to where, you know, you have your main pretty much all but taken care of, if not taken care of, and then you have a secondary job taken care of? What would be the optimal scenario where, you know, let's say they'd actually do a rework?
Okay.
How many pieces of gear would you be getting per tier per week?
I think if you're doing it strictly in an odd numbered patch because you know Ultimate's out, but you don't want to get rid of the weekly cap, that exact scenario, one of every piece that could possibly drop. So if it can drop head, hands, boots, cool. If it can drop head, hands, boots, legs, drop them all. If it can drop ring, neck, bracelet, you know, just one of every single one. Every single kill, but still weekly. I think that if that's a compromise of keeping it weekly locked out, that would be what I would do. You could also just do a token that lets you pick a piece. You could add a token that's like an anything piece if you win that token in particular. So not like the books where you're only able to select after a certain number of weeks. Think of it, it's like the difference between doing normal mode for the swords to get the upgrade material versus just getting the upgrade material in Savage. So something like that also would do. But I think that's the next step, because it looks like they're addressing a lot of other things about Savage, and we'll get into that a little bit later. One other major gripe I have about Savage, and it's structure, I suppose. But that's a little bit later on. We also know Season 2 of Crystalline Conflict is beginning. You will go down 5 risers.
Season 2.
Not Series 2.
Season 2. Not Series 2.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I hate this.
We had to say this.
Somebody said they should change series to campaign. I like it. Just because it's not so it's not so illiterate. Like alliteration. There's not like so much close alliteration.
Season series. Yeah.
Yeah, so season campaign 1, campaign 2, season 1. It's much better. I don't think it fixes the confusion of people not understanding when one ends, but at the very least, if their names weren't so similar, I think it would be less confusing for people. So I like campaign. Somebody suggested that in my chat earlier. Yeah, so they're not so phonetically similar. Campaign gets a thumbs up from me. I'll take it. Or literally anything that isn't series that also doesn't begin with S. I don't care. I don't care what they call it. Just not series. And that was just their reminder for 6.18. You know, just that's coming on Tuesday. There'll be downtime for Monday going into Tuesday. So you can spend your July 4th with whoever, because you can't play Final Fantasy 14 that day. It's down all day, July 4th, if you're in the States. So perfect timing, actually. Yeah, or they just call it the Battle Pass. You know, they go with the most direct name. They want to avoid that. They definitely want to avoid that because it sounds like it's
a negative connotation to it. Yeah. But I mean, that's what it is. I mean, but there's like, this is a battle pass done correctly. I'm sorry.
Somebody also brings up the fact that in other games, the battle passes are called seasons.
So we are ass backwards.
Yes, okay, we're like much like Nintendo's control scheme in recent years. We are ass backwards. Yes, precisely. So that covers the start. Just as a quick reminder, and then we go into patch 6.2 news, and we got a little bit of news about. I'm not going to say everything. I'm sure there's going to be some stuff, some little things that surprise us in the part.
Most things,
yeah, but most things at the very least.
Most things.
So, late August release. We predicted this.
Yeah, the 23rd seemed like a good bet.
Do you think it'll be the 23rd or the 30th? Because they just gave us late March.
23rd.
Late August. It's been a long day. Late August.
Yes.
Go back in time. Just rewind. Go back to March. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I still think the 23rd is a good bet.
It's going to be very telling because the 23rd is 19 weeks after the previous patch, which is exactly 2 weeks more than what it used to be, which was 17 weeks. If not, it's going to be 20 weeks. If it's the 30th, which is the only other option, it's going to be 20 weeks solid. So it's going to be very telling to see which one it is.
But we do have a good gauge in the Moogle event.
Yes.
So whenever that happens, we'll know for certain.
Yeah, that's for anyone who doesn't know, the Moogle Tombstone event is, there's only one time where this hasn't been the case, but it's 4 weeks usually, exactly 28 days before the patch. So keep an eye out for the announcement of that sometime in July because it'll happen and that'll be our information that we need.
Yep.
Okay. New main scenario. Duh. Would have never seen that coming.
You don't know.
We still have to do a 6.1. We still haven't done a 6.1 story show. Listen, the guest of choice is available. I just need to see if they are available next week. Specifically next week, because that could be our show for next week. Not a lot to draw from this. They give us usually 2 screenshots and then we wonder. But there are a couple of details in these 2 screenshots that are troubling. Y'shtola, Atamos is not a toy.
Y'shtola's going to the first. She is definitely trying to figure out how to get to the first.
Yeah, but she's using something to get to the 13th first. Is pretty obvious by the use of Atamos. A fun little detail. Obviously, Y'shtola and Cid is also present there. They'd be very in tune with Atamos because of what happened at the end of 1.x. Atamos basically came and sucked up all the ether from all the Aetherites. It's a 1.x related event, but you just stop working. He's just an ether suck. So that's just I don't like her having that Atamos is all I know. I don't like her having access to that. But she does, and we'll probably be using it to go to the 13th, given what the dungeon is. Cid being back, I think Nero's probably back too, in that case.
Yep. Little Nero's pizza. And then, of course, we have the picture of Xenos' avatar just chilling from the streets.
We need a name for this thing. I don't care if they call it Zeramis or they just give it, because it sucks calling it Xenos' avatar because we don't actually know how much of him is in that thing or if it is just now it's separated because he's died.
Freddy?
Okay. Yeah, so Freddy's roaming the streets. Looks like roaming the streets on the 13th. Freddy, also not a great name given the number of horror Freddys that there are. There's a Fazbear, and there's a man, and there's a Voorhees. So, I'm sorry, not Voorhees, that's Jason. Freddy Krueger. There's a Krueger also, so haunting your dreams.
Yeah.
So, we shall see. I can't do names today. When I'm tired like this, you can't make me do dates, names. I'm holding it together barely today right now.
It's okay. I got you. That's why I'm here. I got you.
Thank you.
I got you, boo.
Yeah, you even put show notes together.
And then, of course, we have Tataru's Grand Endeavor, which you need to complete the Shadow of Mott for, which means Sky Pirates.
They're going to be her delivery service. You know that, right? They're gonna be her transport and delivery.
Is that the most efficient way?
Flying?
She's already working.
We do it. Why not them?
Okay, let me put it like this. She's already working with pirates.
Yeah, for ground for ground and sea, and now she has air. What do you assume that Amazon we got trucks, we're good. No, they'll stick that shit on planes if they can. They actually just make a warehouse everywhere, but you know the idea, delivery, you don't just
so we're not gonna use Aetherites or anything like that, no?
Yeah, it'd be like Amazon drone delivery. That's exactly what it'll be. People are going to be shooting down Sky Pirates with fucking pellet guns. Dude, Rowena's going to get upset about all this. No way she's not taking notice.
Rowan has got a lot of her fingers in a lot of things this patch, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Somehow further Hildebrand adventures. Like, not really much to say. It's just
oh no, there's a lot to say about it.
Well, okay. In terms of the story itself, I'm looking forward to it. Hi. There is more to that. With the next thing, new weapon enhancement quest, aka Manderville weapons.
Fucking yes. I'm so ready for this. You have no idea.
Now again, story-wise, I'm really looking forward to this. In addition to Manderville's story, like in general.
Yeah.
But like just seeing how Godbert comes together with Geralt, and then of course Rowena is gonna have like be a part of it too. Like that's gonna be the most interesting thing. Aesthetically for these things, these better be the best fucking weapons, the best looking fucking weapons I've ever seen. If they aren't, it totally gets shot down by me.
Sly, I saw a comment on the official forums that said that the dancer weapon, one of the stages needs to be paper airplanes that you throw. And I was like, you know what? I'm on board.
I'm not.
I was like, listen, you had me at paper. So, okay, everything aside, there's a bit of discourse about tying the relic to Hildebrand quests. Because you do need to have a Realm Reborn, Heavensward, and Stormblood, and obviously Endwalkers, Hildebrand quests done. Now, there are two sides of, there actually are there are more than two sides to this. Side number one.
Okay.
It takes only about 4 hours to do all of these quests. So it is not that time consuming if you don't like it. If you don't like the actual Hildebrand quest line. Side number two, nobody ever wants to do quests anyway. People complained about Return to Ivalice ahead of Bozja as well. So not really shocked by this at all. Anyway, 3, the one I'm in, you like Hildebrand, and thus this literally doesn't matter to you. And side number 4 is you don't make relics anyway. You're a raider. This is just BIS for casuals. So.
Is it though?
It will be by the end of the expansion, but not early on.
Yeah.
I am just in the boat that it's not worth complaining. Okay, let me put it this way. If 4 hours max worth of quests was enough to stop you from doing a piece of content, 4 hours.
Why the fuck are you doing main scenario? If that's the case, why the fuck are you doing main scenario? So why are you even playing the game?
They might be wondering. They might be wondering the same thing right now.
Why are you playing the game?
You probably didn't want to actually do the content in the first place. I think it's reasonable to not like that it's tied to Hildebrand and to kind of wish it was just tied to something else or independent. I think that's a reasonable take to have. But the hyperbolic statement of it being like the end of the world, which of course is to some people, it is the end of the world. I'm sure I could find some wonderful comments in the YouTube section right now that would say just that. I don't know why my camera just flickered right there. Yeah, I have one that agrees with you. If I have to do Hildebrand, my weapon better be epic. Let's see. This one's even weirder. I hate the Hildebrand quest line, so I don't think I'll ever do those relics. I do like Godbert, but I like his wife much more. That's a big conflicting statement of I hate Hildebrand, but I also love the two parents of Hildebrand.
Yeah. Oh, I like Julian. Like fuck that Hildebrand guy. I love Julian though. She's nice.
And Godbert. Yeah. There you go. My God, there was another one here that was really funny, but I can't find it. Damn. Unfortunate. I lost it. I lost it in the sauce, unfortunately. Maybe I'll find it at some point. His wife really is something, though. So, I don't know. I think it's petty to not want to do something because there's 4 hours of quests before doing it. Even if you don't like the quests. I will say that if you don't like the way the weapons look, go ahead and don't do it, you know. That's just how I feel. I think it's petty. How do you feel? I'm assuming you don't care. You're just like, I'm doing it. Like, it's Hildebrand.
I'm doing it. There's no outside influence on me. I'm doing this shit. I just want the weapons to look good. These better be the most epic fucking weapons I've ever seen. Story's gonna be good. I know that. I mean, it's Geralt and fucking Godbert. And I have a feeling that Geralt is Geralt's fucked.
He's gonna owe Godbert money now too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, out the frying pan into the fire. Geralt's fucked.
I think a lot of people forget the 4.1 quest series, the MSQ with Nanamo, where she went to Godbert thinking he was going to be like really understanding and generous with the idea of like trying to fund the programs that she was doing to kind of build Ul'dah back up, and the refugees as well. And he was very, very like serious to her. Like, listen, like I'm not this loaded because I'm super generous guy. Like you really need like an actual financial plan to tackle like he's dead serious when it comes to business. Like he was not trying to be funny at all in the point one quest line. So I'm actually curious how much of it we get is the ridiculous looking screenshot that they showed of him, and how much of it is the business savvy one, the guy who at least wears a nice looking shirt, even if he still doesn't have any pants on. He doesn't wear pants, so ever. Nothing. No, I guess there's nothing that can contain that monster. So why try it all?
I'm not even touching that one.
Well, somebody is.
Fuck.
He's married.
Either way. I kind of hope we do. I kind of hope we do end up seeing Julian in this. We haven't seen Julian.
Oh, we have to. We have to. Yeah, we haven't seen her.
How long has it been?
Gigi.
Since, like 2.
Yeah, Heaven's
Yeah,
Word.
Gigi.
Yeah, since she tried to disown her own son from taking up a mammoth as a grandson. Which she was very not pleased. She might have been part of some event quests, some seasonal event. I don't remember. So many characters. Yeah. But what if the frying pan is a relic? Paladin sword. No, Dark Knight sword would be way better. I take it back. Dark Knight sword is a giant frying pan. I take it back. It's done. That's it. I settled it. Dark Knight relic's done. Got it. Do you think there'll be joke weapons or do you think there'll be serious weapons? I actually don't know which side of the fence to be on.
I'm really thinking they're going to be serious weapons. I mean, well, we do have the kettle fist, so dreams can come true, I guess. If you want a joke weapon.
Yeah, but the kettle isn't an actual relic. It requires the relic to do it, but it's not an actual relic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually want, so a great example is in the, I think 2.2 Hildebrand quests. Godbert, we watch him craft something. He takes the shards of an ancient vase and crafts them back together. And then he goes too far and destroys the vase by making it beautiful and brand new. But his craftsmanship is top tier. That's what I'm saying. So it's not like he makes jokes. He's a genuine craftsman. World's best blacksmith and the world's best goldsmith working together. Yeah. So I think they could be serious. I think they could be.
Yeah.
But
especially for Rowena's tied in this too.
Yeah, but what if there's business to be had for Rowena in making like mock weapons? What if she sees a new market? I'm just saying. I'm just waiting for Geralt to make a weapon and for Godbert to be like, that's ugly. And then he does the super shiny effects to it. So.
So Godbert would be like the last phase of the relic.
Yeah.
Like it's just like the good phase of the relic.
Yeah. Every time we're adding a shine to it, we're going through Godbert. I genuinely think that's actually going to be like what happens. Godbert will be doing the shiny phases. And Geralt will be doing. Not like Geralt doesn't have experience with the shiny phases, but I think Godbert's going to want to show him a thing or two.
Yeah.
So. Curious.
And then, of course, we get our new tribal quests, the Omicrons.
Yep.
Gathering.
Yep.
Okay, seriously. At this point, who the fuck is going to a bar in Ultimate Duel?
Come on. We're going together. Raise your hand. Come on. Get your hand up, Sly. We got data center travel now. In 3 days. Get your hand up. Sly, I'm not putting my hand down until your hand comes up.
What the fuck is wrong with all y'all? A bar at the edge of the universe, the ends of the world.
I'm just saying there could be some really cool bar stories there.
Oh my god. Do y'all just need something to do while waiting for key? Is that what y'all want? Is that really what y'all want? Just something just somewhere to sit while waiting for key?
Sly, think about it. We're going to be sharing the bar with the freedom fighters, with the global citizens, with the Omicrons, with the I'm so used to I call them Weeos because of the fucking minion. And the dragons, the Eos, yeah, the Eos. Yeah, it's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm just saying, this is a good idea. I mean, so this was actually a pretty common prediction. The three common predictions for the tribal quests, well, there was two, because the Arcus Adara, I think most people didn't assume would be a tribal quest because they're kind of just people over there. You know, like they're not really a tribe, but then the dwarves weren't either, you know, so it was kind of a weird toss up. But the Arcus Adara and the Loprits were big guesses, and the Omicron was the third. So it's important to remember that we no longer can say for certain that the tribes they show us at FanFest are going to be the tribes that get quests. They proved that wrong in Shadowbringers when they showed us the Pixies, the Nummo, and the Dwarves, and the Nummo got replaced by the Qatari. So we don't know for certain the Loprits are third, but I do think the Loprits are going to be third.
I agree.
And I think we're going to be showing them how to make items with crafting that aren't carrots or robes.
Aren't carrots. Thank fucking God.
Or robes, because that's the only things they know how to do with their creation magics. So I think we have to teach them how to make modern things with crafting. Whereas gathering, we're just getting the materials they need, and they're going to do all the building for us. So I'm excited for this. I'm glad. The more Omicrons we get, especially after Omega, just this last side story that we got, more Omicrons good for me. And this doesn't seem to be just Omicrons. Again, the global citizens and the freedom fighters were both at the bar in the screenshot from the last dungeon. So it looks like it's going to almost be like this, literally for the bar at the end of the universe. It's going to be for all of the various planets that have been kind of reformed because of Ultima Thule.
Maybe. New dungeon. The Fell Court of Troya.
Final Fantasy IV.
Hitting us really hard with Final Fantasy IV. And it's really, really hard. Apparently, this is the GM break room. This is where, the GMs get their little pep talk before they go, drag people off to the Mordian jail.
Yeah, if only they were dragging the Wind Traders. That would probably improve my mood. Although we get to talk about that a little bit later because I did briefly mention something in regards to it. This is a beautiful dungeon.
Yeah, I agree.
And it furthers the idea that the void is going to be very much at the forefront of some things that are happening, as if we didn't already assume that. The void has always been this kind of background force that's always been there. And we've gone and we've dealt with it. You know, Shadows of Mach. We had the Crystal Tower series. We've had other side story quests as well that deal with it. You know, we're constantly having void sent thrown at us. And I mean, literally, it almost seems like they're trying to give us a hint, Sly. Like, what are we gonna be doing? What's the next major story, Sly?
Yeah, I always thought of the void as like kind of like the boogeyman. Like you always hear about the boogeyman when you're little, and like you know it exists. You know, you think it exists. You're pretty damn sure. And you get all these little stories about it, and then you finally see it. You finally see the boogeyman. In the case of the movie.
But, I am a little concerned with how much we're messing with the void, because the void messes back, but you know.
Yeah. And then we have a friend to get back who may or may not be in the service of Golbez.
To be determined.
To be determined. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to like knock some sense into Azdaja.
So what I think is going to happen in the Fell Court of Troya, I think this is actually going to be where Golbez and the Fiends were, and so we are going to come face to face with them in this dungeon, and then it'll break off into a side story quest.
Do you think? Okay, do you think Azdaja's there? Do you think Azdaja will be present in the film?
I think we're going to see something that we're meant to interpret as Azdaja, and Vritra's going to kind of have like one of those zoom in shots where he kind of gets that feeling too. And I'm going to call him Vritra. I'm not calling him by his avatar's name. Barshawn, sorry. You're not. That's just your Vritra. And I think that that's going to be like our hint, but they're not going to formally show us the Shadow Dragon. I don't think it's just going to be implied that it's the Shadow Dragon. It'll be in service to Golbez. So the real question is, so the trial series, they kept a complete secret. They said they won't even tell us in the next live letter. They said it will be a secret up to release.
I honestly don't see why they have any reason to hide the fact that it's the Four Fiends. I mean, unless it's creator from the After Years.
Or it's just not any of these things. And they, for some reason, they think they need to hide it. I don't know. I still think it's the Four Fiends. I think it's going to be Scarmiglione. I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to change my mind now with the question mark on the screen. I just think that it's gonna come after we do Troya, and I think it's gonna be Final Fantasy IV. Just big Final Fantasy IV vibes all the way through. The only thing I'm still trying to figure out is if I think all Four Fiends will be a trial. We talked about this, I think, last week or the show before a few months ago. Yeah. So that's about the only question that I still am pondering on, because point 3 is probably not a MSQ trial this time around. But, we don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. All right, braids. Good old Panda Express. Abyssos.
There's no train in there. I don't think. I don't think there's a train in there. I like how I went to a train and not the restaurant. I was like, no, I want to enjoy this. I don't want to go with the restaurant.
We talked about this last week.
Yes, we did.
We had our predictions.
We did.
Thank God they gave y'all a fucking break. Y'all need some fucking rest. Go to fuck to sleep. Go to fuck to sleep.
So what Sly is referring to is, for a long time, including last week, I have been an advocate for adding a delay between normal and savage in all Savage releases.
Gotta fuck sleep.
Even last week, we said it could even be as little as 1 week, and it would be better than nothing at all. And that's what we got. They added a 1 week delay between normal and Savage as a test run to see how it goes over.
This shit's getting permanently instated. Fuck yeah. Fuck all the bullshit. Like if you are putting an ultimate before something like this, we're saying past 0.0. If you're putting an ultimate before your second tier, of course you're gonna need a fucking break. People are still in the fucking trenches. What's wrong with you? Let these people sleep.
That's not even the reason I want it, but I do feel that deep down in my bones also. No, so for me, I think that logically it makes more sense than not, regardless of what other systems around it may or may not change, which is a big question we still have. Then keep in mind that this is a piece of feedback that I think only truly affects the hardcore who plan on doing it day one and going really, really ham. So most people probably won't care. It's a small group of people that I think are going to be talking about it. But 0.2 and 0.4 have had so many issues historically with patches releasing on the same day. Now, not everyone has these issues, but they are there. Because suddenly the world race is not a world race to see who can clear Savage the fastest. It's not solely that. An aspect in day one that goes in is login queues, potential server issues, disconnect issues, because everyone's trying to log in and play at the same time, and the potential of the normal mode quests being a little bit funky. Now, it seems they've learned their lesson about that. Omega Quest series had major issues with the solo instance quests that had to be done, and they've stayed away from that for a while, so good on them. But the more you can separate Savage from the normal mode release, the more you pretty much eliminate any of those potential things adding to any stress of going in initially or adding into any time that would normally be taken away at the start of your day. Yeah. Those for me are the major benefits. Now, on top of that, you get to enjoy normal mode story. You get to do stuff. Yeah, you get to do stuff. Yeah, pretty much. I was just going to list all this stuff, but yeah, you get to do stuff. You get to do normal, watch the story. You get to go do the MSQ. You get to go do the new EX trial. You get to do the new PvP series
anymore.
You get to go make YouTube videos for everything, even when people tell you, please stop. We don't need them. You get to do all these things and then still do Savage the following week. Now, the downside, and there is one, but it's a very particular downside that I'm not going to lie, I don't fucking care.
It's iffy. It's iffy.
No, I don't even think we're going to say the same thing, Sly.
Okay. What are you going to say?
This has been a contested point about this. And it is the idea of having an extra week to analyze the normal mode encounters diminishes the difficulty of Savages when they release. That is a major factor in the tier. It's not the sole factor. The final encounter, obviously, that doesn't do you very good. But it is a factor for the first three and usually a good portion of the fourth encounter, at least an early portion of the fourth encounter. It is definitely a major factor.
We weren't going to say the same thing.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. One issue that I can see coming on the market side of things,
yes,
is the crafters, hitting up the raider, the week one, day one raider market. That might be a little bit skewed. I don't know how much. We don't know when the gear is coming out. So if I want to lean on the side that it's coming out the same day as Savage.
I think that would be ideal.
If that's the case, then this is a non-issue. But if it is, it really skews. It gives everybody a chance. It gives everybody a chance to get in on that market. If it's like the day of patch.
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think it will be day of patch. And it's not the only thing I think will be day of patch, Sly, because you're forgetting another very important thing that they did not clarify, which leads me to believe it will be on patch. Weekly cap tombstones. This is very significant. 1 week of weekly cap tomes means you also have the 2nd week's worth of weekly cap tomes going into Savage, which means you actually get a fully upgraded weapon for your prog. You get a melee DPS or like a black mage weapon going into that week 1 prog. As soon as you beat the fights.
So you're actually going to take the time to.
Oh yeah.
Before you go in on
not before you go in, but you will do it. Like so a lot of hardcore groups will do break times, and if you have a melee who's going to be picking up a weapon, they're 100% going to use their break times to go do expert or dungeons of stuff, because you'll already have your expert like unlocked. You won't have to go do the dungeon and the MSQ to go unlock expert to go get the tomes. You'll have it from the week before. Right. And also, you don't need that many because you have 450 from the week before, so you pop in 1 expert. Honestly, you don't even need to do the expert. You'll get tomes from beating the 1st and 2nd encounter and the 3rd fight, and you'll have a fully upgraded weapon. And everyone will have extreme weapons. That will be without a doubt. So
yeah,
you only need 50. You only need the first 2 fights because remember, it's only 500 now. It's not what it used to be to get the upgraded weapon. So that's a major factor, and it's a question of whether or not they balance around that. If they expect people to have it, and thus they balance around it for the 4th fight in particular. 3rd fight, the 3rd fight having a 620 weapon versus 1 620 weapon versus a bunch of 615 weapons, probably don't have to care that much. But the final fight, I don't think they balance around it. I genuinely don't think they will.
Now, going back to my original point, Happy, your team usually has or commissions a gang of crafters.
Yeah.
I would say, right? Yep. Okay. So if and this is if the gear is released on patch day, not Savage Day, patch day, anything done different?
Yeah, you don't hire crafters if it's done on patch day. Bottom line, there's no reason. I will say there would be a case where there'd be a reason if they made the crafts harder. If they actually made the crafts again way more like master recipe style, maybe you end up still, but they won't. So no, you just straight up don't hire crafters. There's no reason, because by the 2nd or 3rd day they're going to be dirt fucking cheap, and you have a whole week. So crafters are fucked money wise. They got to get in. They got to get in on the market. They're not going to be making premiums from raiders.
The minute you log in, you have to get in on the market.
Yeah,
you have about at the very least 20 to 30 minutes to get in on the market.
That's at most, not at least. You better be fucking moving. Oh man, yeah, they're not going to be making shit for money. Pots and whatnot, always a good old reliable.
Yeah. Food.
They'll be like, wait, I can't make money. How do I add to this 500 million gil I've made? I can't make money anymore. No, there's some people who are dirt cheap who get in on that day 1 who are like, oh, here we go. I spend all my money on glams every single patch. They're doubling the glamour dressers going into 6.2. I'm going to make billions. Oh, fuck, never mind. I'm going to make fucking thousands now. That's not going to work. I can't buy all that. I can't do all that.
Yep. But yeah, raid. It's going to be an interesting race. It's going to be an interesting race.
Oh, another reason why I like the delay, another week to give notice for work, if need be.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted it to be another 2 weeks, actually. But
gives you time to make your stew.
Yeah, I can do my stew the week that I'm waiting instead of the fucking day before. Yeah.
Right.
And I will be doing prog stew, of course. I got to do prog stew. Prog stew is so good.
You don't fuck with tradition.
You don't fuck. It's tradition now. Ever since the cookbook was released, it's tradition. Prog stew.
Prog stew.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a proponent for this. If people disagree, that's fine. That's kind of how life is. So.
Yeah. Next, we have we get our new Unreal. Sephiroth.
Called this.
Hopefully not as boring as Ultima. But the one thing that Ultima's boring as fuck. The only thing that makes it interesting is rating like at Waffle House hours, and people just make it.
You really just you're obsessed with Waffle House hours.
Like I've only done one Waffle House Ultima, and it was just funny. It was really funny because like I've forgotten to do my Ultima for the week, and I'm like, man, let me just go ahead and try to. It'll be funny, and it was. It was hilarious. The thing that concerns me with Sephiroth is they had to change quite a bit with Sephiroth.
Honestly,
for this Unreal.
Not even gonna lie, they probably didn't need to change any of that stuff because the hardest mechanic in Sephiroth was fixed a patch ago. Permadeath. The permadeath has been gone for a patch now.
Yeah.
So I do agree some of these things are definitely not modern day party finder friendly. But I don't think they probably need to change. People could have used the tough lesson. The two things they name is the Earthshakers will no longer be proximity. He has proximity Earthshakers specifically. There's no marker to indicate that. So instead of updating his markers, they're just getting rid of the proximity element on them. Not that big a deal. But the ads, not trucking tanks, because the ads would absolutely massacre tanks. That's kind of I don't think they needed to do that, but I see why. But there's apparently more on top of that, so I'm curious to see what else. I have one thing they actually should change though. Like there's something they should genuinely change. The color of the debuffs in the second phase. I can't fucking see the difference.
Yes. Even with colorblind mode, you can't see the difference?
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that fighting colorblind mode. It's a fucking acid trip. Have you seen me do colorblind mode? It's purple rain everywhere.
Calm down there, Prince.
Nah, I ain't royalty. Yeah, so that's a change I genuinely think they should do. Yeah, I understand the Earthshaker thing, the ad thing, no, but I think they should change the color of the debuffs. And that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Sephiroth Unreal is going to be like, and still saving my leaves.
I sold an anteater for 7 million, but now I gotta build it back up.
Yeah, see, I was waiting on whatever came out with Sephiroth just to spin on that, and I was gonna build back up.
I couldn't do it. I was gonna cap.
Was there anything you could have?
No, I have
like
everything.
Some small purchase.
That's why I bought the anteater to sell it, because it sells for 7 million.
Fuck.
I've done a lot of. I haven't missed a week of Unreal since it came out. No, that's not true. I missed it the week of DSR. So, and I think actually the second week of DSR too. So I missed like 2 weeks, but all the same, not much.
Next up, job changes. They call on PvE and PvP job changes. Now,
yeah, sure,
yeah.
Why don't you lead into this one, Slide?
Yeah, they explicitly list 2 jobs that they really want to change. Dragoon and Astro. So let me get this straight. The devs felt like Goon has hit a brick wall. And the best way to fix the brick wall is to give us good shit that we didn't ask for.
Sly, I have a question for you. Important one.
Okay.
How much do you like reworked Summoner?
Not against it.
How much do you like it?
Again, I'm indifferent.
Sly, do you see where I'm going with this?
They're not dumbing down fucking Goon. The thing I maybe fix is fucking OGCD bloat. Fucking Stardiver, because we've been asking for that shit ever since you implemented it. Yeah. OGCD bloat, Stardiver. I'll be fine.
Sly, what does the rest of the quote say?
Oh, let me go back to it.
Oh, no. You have it. Yeah, you have it written down right here. Oh, no. That's right. No, you actually don't have it written down right here.
No.
Oh, what does the rest of the quote say?
Yeah, let me go back to it.
I could remind you if you'd like me to.
Please.
They said that they had to delay these changes specifically because they were far more involved than they thought they were going to be, these changes. Sly, they're not just changing Stardiver. That's not what's going to happen here. They're going to do it. They're going to do what I like to call a do-over. So I hope you enjoyed Dragoon as it is now, because I don't think that's what it's going to look like by the time this is done, whenever that may be. How much do you like Dragoon right now?
It's in a good place.
Yeah, it might still be in a good place later. Just a different good place.
No, we're not getting the fucking pet. Stop saying we're getting the fucking pet. This is not 11.
What if they just make it like Insect Glaive, and you need to send the Wyvern and hit?
God.
You need to send the Wyvern to hit the head, the flank, and the tail to get the buffs. Okay. The front, the flank, and the rear to get your buffs. All right, and then you need to maintain those throughout the fight. Is it bad that I feel like you're thinking they could do that?
Listen, the only reason why I'm not shutting that down is, like, Insect Glaive is broken right now. Insect Glaive is fucking broken. Have you seen that 2-minute Malzeno kill?
No, YouTube I don't. I generally don't watch too many videos on.
Yeah, like there's a 2-minute Malzeno kill with 4 Insect Glaives because of the new ability. Yeah, that shit's broken. So yeah, that's the only reason why I'm not shutting you down completely right now. But I digress.
Listen, this could finally mean Dragon Sight doesn't suck to use, though. Just think about it. Could finally mean that.
Yeah.
Astro needs the help, on the other hand. Astro, very, very strong, but its job fantasy has become very, very muddied over time.
It's always been that. Like, Astro's been, like, it's been good, but it's like they have done so many reworks to this. It's just one of those weird jobs. I call it weird. It's in a weird place where it's like originally bad, but they fix it and it's just extremely good. You want to have an Astro over a fucking Light Mage any day of the week. I'm just curious how drastic the change is going to be.
Sly, I think it's the cards. I think it's the cards.
Again?
Because their APM at the start, listen, they've done a lot to try to bring the APM down, but an Astro's APM during big moments is probably not as attractive as most people would like it to be.
I'm not going to say what I really, really want to fucking say.
Yeah, all the 2-minute windows are not great. On top of needing to check for RNG, and yeah, there's chat's like it's only going to be 2 cards, 1 melee card or 1 ranged card. which doesn't really change their APM so much, but would at least reduce the decision making. Sly, here's what's gonna happen. All right, here's what they're gonna do. All right.
This job was fucked the minute they implemented it into the game.
They're going to get rid of Astrodyne, right? Astrodyne, they're going to get rid of the whole seal mechanic, right? It's going to be Astrodyne. They're going to make it so that the minor arcana, every time you play a card, you get a minor arcana. So instead of having it once a minute, you have it once per card. And they're going to nerf the potency on it, but you're going to have way more ladies and lords. And then you're going to have the flip arcana card. And then you're going to be able to flip them. So everyone's just going to pull the Lord over and over again. It's going to be as high APM as it was before, but with less cards, and everyone's still going to complain. Done. All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. That's what I'm prepared for mentally. Because I don't think they're going to make it more complicated or more involved than the average DPS rotation for Astros. But here's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, I want my healer to be more involved. And then they look at Astros 2 minutes and they're like, okay, but maybe not like that. Okay. Maybe not quite like that. All right.
I want my healer to be more involved. The Reddit quote unquote Yoshi P response. Do ultimate. Yeah, do ultimate.
Oh man. Yeah, it's gonna be a shit show. It's gonna be a fun one though.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready. Dude, just go full on the time mage thing. Fuck the cards. Just go full time mage at this point. Just the whole thing. Just scrap the whole card system and just make them time mages. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Those are all the best abilities right now on it anyway, are all the time abilities. And even going way back to OG Astro, the whole buff extension shit that they could do, like that was, I mean, this shit's been a time mage in the making the whole time anyway. They were a time mage and they got rid of shit, then they brought it back. So I'm just saying, we can go all the way back to time mage. I'm ready for it.
I mean, those weren't the only changes that were mentioned. Changes to crit and direct hit. Now, with the auto crits that jobs have, we're just now hitting this.
I'm shocked this has taken this long.
Yeah, like we're just now crossing this bridge. Like,
yeah.
And again, like what exactly would be the solution to either give something on top of their auto crit, or you just put it on damage, on crit damage?
So I am big in the field of get rid of auto direct hit crit, but that doesn't seem to be the direction they're going. Because even if they fix the way that, so what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so certain compositions doesn't feel like your job is somewhat invalidated by other jobs having like auto crit or auto direct skills. You know, like Bard has battle voice. It also has one of their songs is also crit as well. And they also have a normal direct hit song. Then you have battle litany, you have stratagem on scholar. So these skills, just like if you have a warrior in the team or a samurai, you're like, oh, well then during my 2-minute windows, these are kind of useless. So there's a couple of ways they could go about this. One would be to make things like crit hit rate or direct hit rate increases affect the character sheet, which would work for crit, but wouldn't work for direct hit because direct hit doesn't have a damage aspect. What I think will happen is all of those buffs are going to have their crit rate reduced, but their crit damage, they're going to have a separate portion that increases crit damage. So instead of being 10% crit rate, it'll be 5% crit rate and 5% crit damage. So that's what I think they're going to do. On that same note, I think they'll actually do the same with direct hit. Even though direct hit doesn't normally increase in damage, I think they'll reduce the amount of direct hit that a buff gives, but make it increase the amount of damage that direct hits do.
I'm amenable to that.
I think that's what they'll do. I'm not saying that's what they should do. I am saying that's what I think they'll do. That has a ton of its own issues. The other possibility is for those buffs to give determination buffs instead. So it can increase direct hit and determination or crit and determination. But then if you have it just to give you something in the case that you're doing that. But I feel like they would have brought up determination if that was the case.
Yeah. So I'd honestly leave that out. Like, don't even bring up determination.
It's very, very fragile. They do this right, and it fixes a long time problem. They do it wrong, and some jobs become almost mandatory for raid groups. There will be groups that refuse jobs. Yes, outright. And this will not be like a case where it's a small difference either. This will be a very noticeable difference. Knife's Edge. Knife's Edge. I think they should just do away with auto crit direct hit. I don't think they should have it anymore. If they get rid of auto direct hit crit too, Warrior can wear the same melds as the other 3 tanks. And if they're not going to fix the issue of not being able to have different melds for different jobs, that's another way of approaching that issue, which also exists. Gonna have to be very careful. Very, very careful about this. Looking forward to it.
Hi. PvP. Rival Wings is back, baby. Woo!
And Series 2, which I'm very excited to see.
Series 2. Series.
Campaign 2?
Not. Stop it.
No, I'm changing it. We're taking it back. We're bringing it back. Bringing back the word campaign.
Series 2.
Volume 2.
Of Crystalline Comics.
Did you say comics?
No.
Volume 2 of Crystalline Comics. No, I like that. We're going with that. Dude, honestly, with the way the Duty Finder goes, might as well be a fucking comic.
You stopped me in the middle of it. I was saying content and you said volume. I just...
Might as well be a fucking comic at this point. So actually, something that they didn't reiterate, but we know they're doing, is they are separating balance changes between Frontlines and Crystalline Conflict in Point 2 as well, because Frontlines is a fucking disaster. So we'd assume that would also be extended to Rival Wings. One would assume, at the very least. So I'm also very excited for that. Frontlines is a mess right now, so if they can make it so it's not a Summoner and Scholar playground, definitely would be for the better. Very much needs to happen. And Series 2, we better see that reward next live letter, like we saw with the Archfiend gear, which, by the way, if your Emeliance isn't an Archfiend gear, you're an animal. I'm an animal. Mine's in the gear that you get from the Emeliance quest, and a toad head. So she's like, something that'll make Fortunal blush, and I'm like, here's a toad head.
Chat, how many of y'all put her in 2B leggings and I don't know, what's something scampy?
The 2B leggings are normally in that category enough as they are alone.
Damascus drape top and 2B leggings. There. Yeah.
I don't like that you just had that ready. I don't like that.
No.
I know. I'm talking to chat right now. I'm talking to them. They know. They know. That's fine. Kid clown top and 2B leggings. Listen, I just knew what you would look best in, and that was a frog head. All right.
She needs the mom jeans and the sweater. That's all she needs.
Probably be good. Probably pretty good outfit.
Yeah.
It's not the 2B leggings for most people. And people are people. So.
People are people. We are getting duty support for 5 more dungeons. 2 of these are ARR dungeons, correct?
Yes. Snow Cloak and Keeper of the Lake.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 MSQ dungeons after 2.0 until, well, 2.1, 2, and 3 don't have MSQ dungeons. Then it's Snow Cloak and Keeper. So they did those. They skipped Dusk Vigil because that's not MSQ either. And then did Samal Airy Vault. And we will have our traveling buddies as our duty support buddies in Heavensward. This was the most important thing they needed to do for duty support, was make sure that they didn't just give us Grand Company losers the whole way up. And I'm glad to see that they are they know well enough what we need. You sail as a duty support.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna die.
Give it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Steps of Faith solo instance down.
That's gonna be
so
funny.
Get ready to use some cannons and dragonators and shit, and get ready to do mechanics.
That's gonna be really funny as a solo instance. I'm very much looking forward to see what that looks like as a solo instance, because that could be a fucking
just
disaster.
A bunch of NPCs just running to their deaths, honestly, and then just you by yourself running to the cannon and dragonator and shit, because nobody else will do it, so you have to do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Also, a Thornmarch revamp. Looks like it's staying as 8 people.
Fucking how?
I mean,
why?
I can tell you why. Thornmarch is actually kind of atrociously designed. It's just you don't interact with it for the most part, because we just blitz through it in the Duty Finder. Sometimes Memento Moogle is a concern in the Duty Finder. Rarely, but depends on how many first timers you have, or how many people who don't read or haven't done it in a while that you have. But yeah, it's not great. And so I'm hoping this will make it better. Fingers crossed.
I don't see how.
I mean, after seeing what they did with Ultima when they made it 4-man, I feel pretty confident. And also, I mean, the Cape Westwind solo instance was really good. So
I still need to go back and do that.
They were really good. A lot of the Realm Reborn changes were really good. So I'm curious to see what that ends up looking like. And I have a feeling it's far from the last one that we see a revamp for either.
And then we get to the confusing part.
Confusing.
Okay, I'm going to summarize just to kind of I'm going to cliff notes it as best as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Last week we talked about this.
Okay.
We talked about Criterion dungeons. We're like, what the fuck are they? Like, what's the reward structure going to be like? Is it going to be tied to Relic? We have more information now. Way to confuse the fuck out of us, Yoshi P. So we have variant dungeons. This is what I would call the story-based dungeon. The casual content, so to speak. Then you have roll credits Criterion dungeons. This is your EX. This is your extreme mode, so to speak. And then you have Criterion Savage, which is exactly what it says. Criterion Savage. Set group. Good luck, have fun. It's like DRS, but without the whole kicking you out thing. You'll at least get back, but everything resets if you die.
Yeah. And what's even better is it's actually called Another Path also. So it's another Sildi subterrane. So it's ass.
Yeah.
It's ass and ass savage. So looking for group ass.
Y'all were just really holding out for that one. Y'all were just holding on to that one.
Yeah, gotta wipe an ass.
Oh my god.
Yeah, LF ass. Or if you do it, if you just get rid of the savage designator at the end, it's like Angry Video Game Nerd ass. That's the extra ass.
So here's the thing that concerns me. And we talked about it this last week. We talked about what exactly we'd be getting, what exactly the reward structure is.
Hey, me too. I'm still wondering, Sly.
Yeah, same.
Probably the most important thing they could have talked about, they didn't.
Here's what I'm thinking. Depending on difficulty, if Savage is Savage. If it's on par with Savage, if it's on par with DRS, if it's on par with BA, then you should get gear or weapons to kind of merit that, to be on par with that. But that kind of skews things because we already have Panda Express Savage. So how are we going to balance this? Because again, this is just another option. This is like another piece of content. I think if that's the case, what most people would want it to be, maybe, I don't know, 10 to 5 eye levels down from normal Savage, from Savage, excuse me, from Savage raids. Mm-hmm. I think that would be fair. But again, we don't know how difficult this thing is. So would you, if it was, okay, I really don't think they would put it on par, like same eye level as Savage. We don't know, again, we don't know the reset on this thing. So I don't know how often you would get gear if you were to do this. Like it would be, I think it would be maybe a weekly reset. You do this, get gear, wait until next week, just like Savage.
So yeah, I'm going to back up a little bit to get everyone fully in the loop. So the variant dungeon as a story mode where you're walking an NPC and you get to choose your path. The story of the dungeon actually changes depending on the path that you choose. So you do the dungeon.
Casual.
Yeah. You do the dungeon a few times and you'll get to experience all the different stories that can be possible from there. You can also do it with 1 to 4 people. There's no job restriction. You can even change job inside. So
casual.
That is your casual experience. That is kind of like the most basic approach for it. I don't think there's even going to be a reward structure for that. I think it's going to be like any sort of story trial that you've done. They might incorporate like a weekly quest like we had with like Castrum Castrum back in Bozja. You know, you might see something like that, a weekly quest that encourages you to do it with some sort of reward. Don't know.
At the very least, I think it unlocks Criterion. Yeah,
one clear of that to unlock Criterion, without a doubt. Yeah, CLL and Dalriada. I assume that the first and I think that this will expand. I think when there's 3 different Criterion dungeons, which we know by the end of this expansion there will be 3 Criterion dungeons. I think that there will be weeklies for doing the variant levels of them. Not to do all the paths, but just to do one path for it. But it's not leveling content is a big thing to remember. It is level 90 content. So unless they change it, they surprise us with something or they do something different for the other Criterions, that's the expectation. Then you have Criterion normal mode, which is just called Another Path Criterion Dungeon. And that is going to be a higher difficulty. It's high difficulty out the gate. So they said it's closer to extreme in its difficulty, but with only 4 people. You have to go in with 4, but you can do matchmaking. It will be 1 tank, 1 healer, 2 DPS. And so because of that, there's no job changing inside. You need to make sure that that composition is what you have. So no 4 warrior memes or anything like that. You cannot use resurrection spells, but everyone has a limited number of resurrection actions. So all 4 party members are capable of rezzing, but only a certain number of times. And if your group does fully get KO'd, you will be sent back to the beginning, but you won't have to re-clear any of the trash. I'd assume if you leave the instance, it would respawn everything, but as long as you're in there, you won't have to re-kill everything. Then Savage kicks that up a notch. You have to go in with a pre-made. There is no matchmaking for it. There's no resurrecting at all. No action, no spells, no anything. And if your whole party dies, the whole dungeon respawns. And on top of that, if you take too long to clear the dungeon, all the monsters enrage.
No, they say get stronger in the slide. I'm not like
enrage.
I would think it was not really an enrage. I was thinking more like just getting like an attack buff every few seconds or every like 15 seconds or something like, and it just keeps stacking and stacking and stacking.
You're dead.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna die. Yeah. That's it. It's a hard enrage. It's like any other savage fight. It's just the whole dungeon is the savage fight. So hurry your fucking ass up, essentially. However, instead of booting you out, like you said, like DRS boots, you have to go all the way out, go back in. No, this just sends you back to the entrance and you can try again. It's like any savage fight. When you wipe in the middle of the fight, you go back to the start of the fight. So
still wish they would fix fucking DRS. Like,
there's a lot more they could fix about DRS than that. And that actually kind of comes to my next point, because those three things, all three of those difficulties, how they're designed is how I judge the reward structure. It's why I think the story version won't have anything except maybe a weekly quest. The extreme version, I think, will have gear. I think there will be a mount drop. I think there'll be a minion drop. I think there'll be orchestrion drops. I think everything you see in DRN as a drop is going to be some form of equivalent to it coming out of the Criterion normal mode. Then for Criterion Savage, I think you'll upgrade that stuff. But I specifically think you'll upgrade it to make it stronger in Criterion dungeons. For that reason, I think, after thinking about it all morning, it will probably be 620 gear at the most. And its primary function will be making it stronger inside of Criterion. I think they are going to emulate Delibrum's reward structure to a T, and I don't like that for Savage. Because DRS struggles with not having a good enough reason to do it. Now, I will say there is one benefit. We know this isn't the last Criterion dungeon. So if you have stuff that makes you stronger inside of Criterion, having that for the next one is probably a good idea. But we also don't know enough about the rest of the reward structure to know what 3 different Criterion dungeon rewards looks like. 6.2 and 6.4 are Criterion dungeons. We're trying to guess the item level based on those. What about the 6.5 Criterion? Is that just same as Savage Gear because it's the end of the expansion? They don't give a fuck? Is it harder for that reason? Is it any harder than the other 2 Criterions because it's the last one?
Then don't make it different at the 6.5. Just go ahead and make it the same now if you're gonna go down that route eventually.
But I think they'll have to make it different. I mean, even Bozja went up and another few item levels for the very end there. They made sure there was always some sort of upward trajectory, a side set of goals that people could work on. I think it's just a matter of it'll be good for gearing alternative jobs to give you like a much better item level than you could otherwise obtain if you weren't doing this, because you'll be months ahead of the 24-man unlocking. You'll be months ahead of getting all the extra upgrade gear. But the idea, I think, is still going to be to keep Savage 8-man at the very top of the food chain, other than Ultimate. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think that maybe some pieces leak through for jobs like healers or tanks, that maybe there's accessories. Who knows? Maybe we don't even know if there's left side. We don't know anything. The biggest question we had, they did not answer, and will hopefully answer in the next live letter.
You would hope so. The next big thing, Highland Sanctuary. We still have questions, but we did get a bit of information.
Yeah.
Still, like first and foremost, that's a lot of island for that one Roganin to still just have a fucking shack.
Sly, did you also think your monitor was just dirty when you saw that little dot on the map?
And then they had to point to it.
Because I saw a little dot on the beach, and I'm like, man, why won't this come off my monitor? What the heck?
Like, oh, that's a Roganin. Like, okay. And so that's still a lot of island for that Roganin, that one Roganin to just have a fucking shack.
Oh, it's going to be a lot more than a shack. It's a base of operations, Sly. It's not a house, but it is a base of operations.
That's a big fucking shack.
Yeah, they went over the most high-level explanations. They showed us I don't know why they Pornhub censored the fucking island.
I know.
I get they wanted the scale of it. It looks like it's shaped like a dolphin. And if it's not a dolphin, it's shaped like something else that begins with a D. So I'm really hoping it's a dolphin.
It's Jurassic Park.
That's one big pile of shit. No, not what you meant. Was that not the quote we were looking for?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Just making sure. Oh man.
My God. And
So yeah, we saw the island size. They told us all the activities there are kind of isolated to activities there. Gathered materials, tools that you use for building stuff, your base of operations.
Fucking shiny hunting.
Yeah, you can find creatures on the island, and they can be rare variant colors and unique versions of the monsters. And so I'm fucked. I asked for this with Beastmaster.
Have fun.
I asked for
Have fun.
I did ask.
Have fun. I ain't doing that shit. I don't give a fuck. Just give me my island. Give me my shack. I'll be happy.
You're gonna hold a party on the island?
Yeah.
Island party.
I'll put up decorations, everything. It'll be awesome.
I was thinking more like we said last week, fire festival kind of thing going on. But if the festival actually happened kind of situation.
Yeah.
Sad face. And on top of that, you'll also be able to, there's like a little market that's like isolated to your island, and you'll have to like take the things that you gather and make and set them into like a market and follow market trends to get rewards that you can, to get an island currency that you can use to buy rewards. It's a lot of island. You can also eventually fly on the island, get mount speed increases on the island. They're going pretty ham with the island. And Sly, now having known this, something a lot of people may not remember, but in the patch roadmap, in the Endwalker roadmap that they did for the next 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV stream, they said that 6.5 has a new island. More creatures.
So we get 2 shacks.
No, I get more shiny hunting. More shinies. I'm going from Kanto to Johto, baby. No?
No.
But yes.
Have fun with that.
I will.
Have fun with that.
I hope there's a title that's like my ocean fishing one. I'm ready. And the island is free. Also, the island is free. Does not have a guild cost associated with it. That's good news for some
I still kind of want to call it free housing, because that's kind of what it is.
It's really not, though. You can tell even just from this limited description that you have
a place to go. You have a place to go.
Man,
you're not homeless.
I don't like the title world class breeder. I don't like that idea. But if they do it, I'm getting that title. Okay, I'm getting it.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
And adventure plates. Really didn't pay this too much mind, because I haven't touched my adventure plate. Like, again, the only thing I really want out of it is something that alters it based off your rank from season 1.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Fuck you. Fuck you. I knew you were gonna make some shit.
Sucks, doesn't it? Campaign 1.
God. But yeah, like, that's the only thing I really want from it. So, like, really, I didn't pay this any mind. Like, apparently there were issues. A few people were having issues with saving their
it's super not well constructed right now.
Yeah. So yeah.
This is good. I think so, because you didn't really care about them. You don't see that this is actually really good. So it's rare that something goes from a beta version to a full release and it actually changes nowadays. I think most of us just like, oh, beta, so it's out, is what you're telling me. No, they took the feedback from how it actually interacts with your portrait and your gear sets. It is very convoluted, and it constantly breaks at the moment. Every time you change job, every time you try to open it when you have a different gear set on, it constantly breaks. So they're basically trying to simplify it by making, every gear set has its own portrait associated with it, and you can choose whether or not you want it to update the gear or not. So they're basically fixing all the most major issues with it that kind of even made me just stop paying attention to it. So they will be deleting all of your current portraits, however, when this happens, to shovel in the new system. So if you like one now, take a picture of it, take a picture of the settings, so you can redo it once it actually comes out. And very good. Glad to hear. I want to see it in more content. They do say they're adding it to Mahjong, but they also have mentioned adding it to dungeons as well. The The more places you add it, the more valuable it will be to people to collect plates, to collect poses, as long as there's methods of earning them, like, I don't know, Island Sanctuary currency. I'm just saying. Just saying. Yeah. So, that's there. I'm glad to see it. I am glad to see it.
New tomes. Causality.
Yeah, cool.
That's all we really can say.
That's it. New tomes. Really what the fuck else am I saying? We didn't see the tome gear. We can't discuss it, so.
Yeah. New high level crafted gear, which again we spoke about earlier. Gonna kind of skew the market based on when it gets released, but we'll see. And something that we've been asking for the longest fucking time, the ability to repair gear in and out of duty.
Request repair, specifically. Request repair. So, Sly, I have a question for you. How many of your static members can repair their own gear in Raid?
Me, Marth, I assume. I want to say 3 or 4. So half of us, maybe.
So does that mean that if your members forget to repair, are you going to be repair daddy for Raid?
No,
I'm going to be repair daddy.
3 other people who can do it. Somebody's going to be repair daddy or mommy.
I'm repair daddy. If somebody's on an alt or somebody just doesn't have it, I'm going to be repair daddy. The question is if they need the dark matter, if I need it. Honestly, I don't care if I need it. I keep like 1,000 on me at all times anyway. So
I just keep a bunch of it on me anyway. So like, as long as like I have it, should be good.
Yeah, I'm going to charge them Gil for it, but they'll pay it back later. I'll be like, you're buying a stack of pots for me if I have to repair for you. If your lazy ass forgot, you're buying a stack of pots for me. All right.
Remember that old meme back in the day? Like whenever you were in a bad party and they're like, you're going to pay my fucking repair bill.
Now,
fuck you.
Yeah, no, I'm not paying. Listen, they're paying me to not have to exit. Listen, specifically, I'm going to charge this fee, Sly, on the 4th encounter of Savage if there's a checkpoint between the first phase and the second. Because if we're on the fucking second phase and your shit breaks because you forgot to repair during the goddamn break, you're paying for the pots, all right? I'm fixing the shit, and for your laziness, you're buying me a stack of pots, okay? That's the deal. Stop being lazy. That's my cost. And then, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to say that, and it's going to suddenly say light party on the screen. And light party. I can already see
guess
that.
Guess we're leaving now, and I guess you can get your repair done.
Yeah, good. What do you know? Oh, I left the instance, and now I can repair. What do you know?
Hey, what do you know?
And then we get stuck on the first phase for an hour again, and they're like, wish I hadn't done that.
And then after that was pretty much the QVC rigmarole, which we see at the end of every live letter. So that's pretty much it.
Why does my camera keep flickering?
Did it again.
Yeah, you know what it does? It flickers when I click out of the window for some reason. It's really weird. Yeah, I'm not
Interesting.
Sure. Yeah. So there were a couple of other little things I mentioned. For the QVC, it was the Primals concert Blu-ray with behind the scenes and a couple orchestrion rolls. There's going to be a TV show airing in Japan called Looking for Party Members or something. Yeah. There's also going to be, there's one other thing I forgot. And definitely they reminded people Immerse Audio Pack is on sale right now.
On sale. Yep.
There was another thing they actually mentioned at some point when they talked about PvP very, very briefly. And they actually mentioned that they're making adjustments to the queuing for Crystalline Conflict to help eliminate people who try to queue at the same time. So if you try to time a queue to get in all at the same time. Now, I'd like to remind everyone that is how win traders function. Primarily, it's one person queuing on the same job on 2 different accounts, and they try to get each other on opposing teams. So while that is going to be like, you tried to queue with your friends and time your queue so you can climb through the ranks or some shit like that, it's also going to be the tool that attempts to eliminate some win trading as well. So just wanted to throw that little tidbit out there because I think that's a fairly important one. And no mention of group queuing either for even casual crystalline conflict. So another thing that is there. So, but I think, they should probably just add casual 4-man queue or casual 5-man queue. I think it'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just not in ranked matches. Unless, I don't think they're ever going to bring back 5v5 ranked matches. Ever. I don't think. It's not going to happen. And with that, Sly, it covers pretty much the entire live letter.
Yep.
There's only 2 hours.
Looking forward to part 2.
Yeah.
We get more information when we get a naked island instead of it being censored.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a mermaid. We're gonna be like, oh. Now I see why.
The official Final Fantasy should like really put that in on Twitter and then do the whole like, the nudity. They click on the.
They did do a tweet for Island Sanctuary, but it was, and you get an island, and you get an island.
Nah.
They went the Oprah route with everyone getting an island, but it's not a house. So, and you can't even grow like non-house crops there. You can't grow like Atmarian onions or anything.
Atmarian onions, yeah.
All the current gardeners are like, yes! And everyone else is like, ruined.
Yep.
Either way, man, I'm looking forward to this. So many things I've wanted in this patch. The delay in Savage, the fucking Island Sanctuary.
This is looking to be another pretty solid patch.
I have a question.
6.1 was pretty solid. What's up?
There's an NPC that's going to accompany us in the variant dungeon.
Pippin or no.
What if I present to you a third option? Sly, what did I theorize would be the method with which we achieved our relic weapons last week?
I forgot. What'd you say?
Criterion dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
What if we're walking Hildebrand through the
Doubt it. Doubt it. If there were a third option, it would be Rub-On, honestly.
Somebody said his left arm on its own.
Fuck. God.
We found it.
You're going to hell. All are going to hell.
No, I think it's going to be Nanamo. And I think we're going to have one for each city state. One I think for Gridania we're going to be doing. Oh no, I'm sorry, for Limsa I think it's going to be Nimian. I think it's going to be some sort of Nimian Criterion dungeon. I think for this it's going to be Sildian, and then for Gridania it would be a Gamoran.
Yeah.
So I think I do think those are going to be the themes of each of the 3 Criterion dungeons that we know we're getting, and I think they'll do Nim last. I think because of Gelmora already being handled with Palace of the Dead a little bit, might not go too crazy with that one. But Nim, I'm down. I'm ready. No Fordola. No, she's too busy wheeling our man around. It's Fordola and Ehrenwald. She's just pushing the chair. Like, all right, you fight. I'm going to push the chair. He just wants to go on an adventure right now. Yeah, just bring him with us. I'm ready for Ehrenwald to get back in the action. I think it'll be a good time. I'm really excited for point 2. Oh,
yeah.
And by the way, he did mention a brief reminder. He's like, I know this Savage patch. I'm sorry. I know this patch seems like it's pretty far away still, but you'll blink, it'll be gone, and then you'll have another ultimate to do. He fucking said it. He's like, it'll be in no time. You'll be doing ultimate again. Almost as a reminder, like, yes, it is still planned for point 3. And then I cried.
Yeah. Of course you did. But then you're glad you got that fucking week.
I'm very glad I got the week. Some people might be, it's 1 week less to get enough gear. And I'm like, I'll have it. I'm good. I'm okay with it. It should be all right.
Yep.
Okay. So, with that, I think we're good to wrap up the show, Sly.
I think we are.
All right. Anyway, it's good talking to you again.
Talking to you.
It's good talking to you. I'm going to see if I can get us a guest next week. I'm going to ask them right after this is done, actually, if they want to talk about 6.1's MSQ, because we never did a show on that.
Man, we are well overdue.
A little bit. And I have the perfect person in mind. Also, Frosty's returning to Mog Talk tomorrow.
Hey, Daddy Frosty, let's go.
Daddy Frosty is back with Mog Talk tomorrow. So if you're looking for another podcast this weekend, Mog Talk is always a solid one. You, of course, have your usual options every week. Etherite Radio should be right before Mog Talk, as is per usual as well.
Oh, yeah, that thing. I'll be on that thing.
There you go. That's why I brought it up.
Hey, yeah.
And then I'll be on Mog Talk right after that. So we'll have a busy day tomorrow as well.
And then I have my birthday celebration.
There you go. What a thrilling weekend we have. So Frosty also wants to come on and do a show. We have the second season, any changes that come with that. So I have already asked Frosty if he'd like to do a show, and he has said yes. He just needs to know exactly which day. So he can talk about because this will be his first time being able to talk about all the PvP stuff pretty much since it all happened. And, he's just kind of been a witness the whole time. So Frosty will be a guest at some point this month, if not next week, because I could get him for next week because we'll already have patch, 0.18 by then. But if not next week, then the week after that. So we are working on some guests to make sure we have plenty of shows going for the rest of the month. And then we will have probably a live letter next month. That'll be a show as well. We're getting back in the swing of it. Sly.
We sure are.
Yep. Thank you to all our sponsors on Patreon for supporting. Thank you, Steelseries, of course. I'll include a giveaway link in the YouTube description. And Sly, where can they find you at, my good sir?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. Funny thing, every so often I get somebody to hey, I never knew you were here. I always watch you on Stay in the Realm. Twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox is where you can find me. If you have Twitter, at Sly the Fox on Twitter. That simple. Monster Hunter. We're all doing the hunts. We're doing the hunts. So I'll be a Monster Hunter tonight, this evening, this afternoon. Tomorrow I will be on Aetherite Radio. And then I have a shindig on Primal. If you're on Primal and you have a Primal or you have a Primal alt, tomorrow night, Bay City night, my WSOY birthday celebration. I'm not going to celebrate my birthday on a Sunday because no liquor stores are open, and that seems boring. And the next night is fucking 24-hour maintenance, so I'm not going to do my birthday celebration I'll stream on my birthday, but it's I'll do my birthday party Saturday night. So if you're on Primal and have a Primal alt, love to have you. It's going to be really fun. You can find all the details at that site right there, stationwsoy.com. /hashtag Bay City Night. All the glam ideas, everything there, all the trailers there. Definitely check it out. Love to have you. Get there early. Line starts at 8, but people are going to be there before because people are fucking crazy. Doors open at 9. It's going to be a fun night. Really fun night. Happy, where can I find you? What you doing to life?
I am trying to keep up with everything Square Enix is doing right now, and then some. I'm making a lot of videos on the YubTubs. There's some surprise news that's really cropped up in the past week or so. We had the Star Ocean 6 thing, which we knew would be end of June, but they kind of just announced it on the 27th, and then it was on the 29th. Star Ocean 6, gameplay looking solid. Porcelain faces, not so much. So curious to see how that pans out. That's slated for October, the same month as Forspoken, which is also just going to be a couple weeks before Harvestella, which blew me out of the fucking water because I didn't expect Square Enix to release Rune Factory as their own fucking franchise, essentially. And in case you didn't know, Dio Field Chronicle, the SRPG that we heard about back in March, has a fucking show tomorrow at 4 a.m. Pacific, apparently. It's going to be in Japanese only, but we'll basically be getting an extended look at the gameplay for Diofield Chronicle. And that's also slated to come out this year. We just don't know when. So that's probably going to be in like the September or October also. Also, Valkyrie Elysium's still slated to come out this year. Who knows when we'll fucking hear about that. We don't know when Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remaster is coming out. Live Alive is July 22nd. Stranger of Paradise DLC is July 20th. Then we'll have patch 7, we'll have patch, not 7.0, patch 6.2 next month in August. So we're going to be pretty fucking busy for the next several months. Not to mention, I've got Count Up starting up probably at some point. I don't know when now. The artwork will be done soon, but. And Monster Hunter Rise is out. Sunbreak is out now. With the title update in August? September? When was title update 1? They told us. It said in the live stream.
August.
It's August, yeah.
August.
Yeah. So, yeah. That'll be fun. Yeah, new Pokemon in November. Cuphead DLC just released. God, I love Cuphead too. Should play that.
I need to get that.
Should play that. Yeah. Square Enix is looking fucking, dude, between Capcom and Square Enix. Oh yeah, Capcom I think has Exoprimal, aka not Dino Crisis, technical test this month as well. So eating good right now, but tired times ahead, and tired times right now, as a matter of fact. I'm ready to fucking keel over. So with that, we're gonna go into a short post show, and we'll be back next week with one of 2 potential shows, and whichever one we don't do will be the week after that. So it's good talking to you again, Sly. I'll see you next week.
Good talking to you.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat place. Maybe not the same time. I don't know. We'll see. But definitely next week. So anyway, everyone else, we're going to go into post show. So we'll see you later.
See you next week.
Bye.